Hey crafties, Laura here, and I'm in my craft closet today. I'm showing you one of my favorite tricks to save money on colored embossing powders. So I love embossing. It's my favorite technique, so I use a lot of powder. So I found an easy way to not only create the same effect without the expensive powders, but also to match your projects. So I'm going to be showing you my technique while making a card like this Neon Dragonfly, which I used the new Dragonfly Garden stamp set for. But today I'm going to be using the Touch of Ink stamp set, and these are a free celebration item until the end of February. So for today, the supplies you're going to need are a few stamps on blocks, including a sentiment if you'd like, basic black cardstock. So I have an 8.5 by 5.5 scored at 4 1/4 for my card base. I have a basic black cardstock layer that's going to be 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. And then because I always like to add just a bit of color, just like in this one, a background layer, I have, this is Old Olive, 4 by 5 1/4. So it's just a little bit bigger than your black layer. In addition to your cardstocks, you're also going to need a Versamark ink pad, which is a slow drying clear ink, plain old white embossing powder, a heat tool to heat up your embossing powder, and then my secret weapon, the stamping blends. These are an alcohol-based marker, and there's a lot of colors to choose from. So let's get started. First, we're going to ink up our stamps. So I'm going to be doing the leaves and the butterfly from the Touch of Ink. Oh, and my sentiment, I chose Best Wishes. So we're going to ink up our stamps, and we're going to stamp it on our paper. Start with the leaves. And again, it's clear ink. It's like a watermark ink. So I'm just kind of randomly stamping around the edges. Maybe a little at the top. Okay, we're going to ink up our butterfly. And last but not least, our sentiment. So I'm going to emboss this like normal, just plain old white embossing ink, embossing powder. I tend to have a scrap sheet underneath me so I can just kind of dust it over as much as I want, and then I'll end up tapping it back into the bottle after it's all over my paper. You can see I'm kind of splashing it back and forth. So a little tip when I'm doing embossing, no matter how careful you are, you get little oils and whatever is on your paper, and if you have any extras, extra powder just laying around on it, I like to take an old paintbrush, just an old dry paintbrush, and I tap off the excess. There we go, just so we don't have any stray white pieces. There we go. All right. So now we're gonna, let's tap our excess back in so I don't blow my powder all over the place. Close that up. We're gonna take our heat tool and we're gonna emboss it. So I tend to heat from the back, and you can watch it until it turns shiny. All right, so now we have white embossed on our black paper. So let's go ahead and color with our blends. So I figured I'll probably leave the sentiment white again, but I'm gonna go ahead and color the leaves. This is Old Olive with my Stampin' Blends marker. And you don't need to be super precise. You can see I'm just kind of coloring over it. I love techniques where I don't need to be precise. And this is because with black paper, you're not going to see your colored blends behind it. Maybe. Looks like I missed a little bit of embossing powder there. That's okay. All right, now the butterfly, let's see. Maybe I'll make his body green. It's been so cold here, I haven't seen a butterfly in months. But we can make him any color we want. Why don't we do red on the bottom? Oops, wrong side. I prefer to use the brush tip, again, because I don't need to be precise. And also because it's faster and I like to be lazy. A little bit of red. This cherry cobbler, and this is going to be pumpkin. Yeah, it is pumpkin pie. Yep, my favorite orange. Like a monarch. And then lastly, this is Daffodil Delight. So we have a colorful butterfly. And now what I'm going to do, whoop, did I miss a bit of red? What I'm going to do is I'm going to reheat this so that the color gets soaked in permanently, you know, it doesn't wipe off in your fingers, but also so that the shine from the white embossing powder comes back through. So instead of like the matte color that we see now, the shine comes back through. Go. So we made some colored embossing powders. So this is optional. I'll sometimes do this if I really want some bold colors, like on these neon dragonflies. I really wanted bold colors, so I did this where I recolored, just recolored over. It just kind of makes the colors a little more vivid. Sometimes heating up will pale them out slightly, which could be great for your project if that's what the look you're looking for. With my butterflies, I like them to be super bright. And a little bit of red. And then his little green body. I think I'm going to leave the leaves with just one coloring. They're vivid. I want that butterfly to stand out. So here I'm going to reheat it. All right. Almost done. One last trick I have to show you is if you want it to be super shiny. I like my embossing to be very shiny. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and restamp. I think I'm just going to do the butterfly. I'm going to restamp them with Versamark and then put clear embossing powder over it. And that gives it that real nice, thick, shiny embossing on the top. If you have a Stamparatus, that would be an excellent time to use this so you can make sure it's right on. But with these photopolymer stamped, I find it very easy to just kind of line it up over what I've already done, stamp it down, and if it's slightly off, it actually ends up looking cool, like almost a shadow. We're gonna put clear embossing powder over them. Tap my excess off into my jar. And now we're gonna heat them up. And there you go. So that's how we make colored embossing powders. Our super secret little trick there. And you can see with that extra clear embossing powder over the top, it just kind of makes the butterfly stand out a little more from the background leaves that I did. So last but not least, we'll just finish making it into a card. Aha, wrong side. Just gonna... This is my old olive piece that I had cut. Oops. to stick that down with dimensionals. I had them here somewhere. Right. Just put a few on the back. Less is more. And that's why I use a ton. There we go. Here's my card base. It's scored already. I like to use dimensionals too because it makes it pop even more. Especially what you want to show off is your artwork, the bright colors you did. There we go. There we go. So this card is colorful and fun. So thank you for joining me in Laura's craft closet today, learning how to color your embossing powders the easy way. So subscribe to this channel and visit me at laurascraftcloset.com for lots more tips. Happy crafting!